Hey, fancy seeing you here on the YouTube as instead of in the classroom. I hope you enjoyed the story "Good Country People" by Flannery O'Connor. As we said in class last time, we're talking about um, a Southern writer, very religious writer, but also where we have her Catholicism on one hand, we also have her really bleak nihilism on the other hand. How she's able to bring these two things together, I've never really been able to wrap my own mind around. They seem kind of contradictory, mutually exclusive. To be a nihilist and religious, to believe in nothingness and something. I don't know how you do it, but she did. And that comes out really loudly and clearly in Good Country People. Now, before you watch the rest of this video, I suggest you pause it. You take the quiz if you haven't done so yet. The quiz should be available from 9 until 11. You have 15 minutes to do it once you start it, just like when we do them in class. And after you do that, go and make some comments on the message board. And then come back and you can watch the rest of the video. So here we are at a minute and a half. You're pausing the video, you're taking the quiz, you're writing on the message boards on Canvas. It's called discussions on the sidebar on the left. There's some questions there for you to respond to, some simple ones, but go back later and respond to other people. Keep that discussion going. All right, and now we're back. A few things about the story. It's considered one of her best. It's really a highly regarded story. And that's said about a woman who wrote a lot of stuff. She wrote a ton of short stories. She didn't do much as far as novels, but Flannery O'Connor wrote a whole lot of short stories. Told you about a couple of them last time. A Good Man Is Hard to Find, about the family on vacation from Georgia to Florida, and they stumble upon a serial killer of some sort, like a murderer who's escaped from jail. And Parker's Back, about the religious woman who kicks out her husband, and he gets the tattoo of the crucifixion on his back to try and make her happy. And so he returns home, so Parker is back. And he also has the tattoo on his back, so Parker's back is both a contraction Parker is and a possessive Parker's back. And the wife sees the tattoo, thinks it's blasphemous, kicks him out. The end. The family in Florida meets the killer. He kills them all. The end. If you've read Good Country People, as you were supposed to, it also ends on a rather bleak note. We have the main characters, Joy, or Holga, who is a philosophy professor. She lost her leg in a hunting accident when she was a kid, and she has now returned home to the family farm to live with her mother because she can no longer handle it on her own. Both the mother can't handle the farm, and Joy, or Holga, can't handle living on her own with the leg situation, with her injury. So she has a prosthetic leg. Now, Mrs. Hopewell, her mother, excuse me, very proper, pure, very religious. Well, religious, let's say. And then Mrs. Freeman, the woman who lives there and helps out on the farm, is sort of her employee / tenant, and Mr. Freeman also, who lives there, and their two daughters, Corme and Glycerine. Glycerine, and however her name is pronounced, it's an odd one. No offense if your mother is named Glycerine, but I doubt it. Joy comes home, tells her mother, "I've changed my name. I want you to call me Holga," which is the ugliest name she can think of, the name she thinks her mother will see as the ugliest. Here we have this distinction between the happiness of Joy and the ugliness of Holga. She sees herself as ugly. She's lonely, but she also claims to be a nihilist, a believer in nothing. She doesn't believe in anything. doesn't believe in the religion of her mother, doesn't believe in the purity of America like her mother, doesn't believe in the goodness of the American South like her mother, believes in nothing. And so they have these little arguments and bickering, and around breakfast, Joy or Hulga and her mother, Mrs. Hopewell, and Mrs. Freeman sit around and eat breakfast and gossip and argue with each other because Hulga/Joy just can't deal with them. And then one day, you notice there's a knock on the door, and it's a Bible salesman. Whenever a Bible salesman shows up, that should raise some flags. We know something's about to happen. Whenever an outside character shows up to a story, that's important. When that character is selling Bibles, that's just loaded with symbolism, right? And then, of course, his name, Manly Pointer. There's a name. If Hulga doesn't mean something as far as ugliness is concerned, Manly Pointer, the man who points at things. Also, probably some kind of phallic reference in his name, the pointer of his manliness. He shows up, says, "What you all folks need is a good family Bible. I notice there's not one here. I'd love to sell you a Bible because no home like yours is complete without a Bible. Because you're such good folks, and I know you would just love a Bible because this is so important, you know. Everybody should have a Bible." And he goes on, and Mrs. Hopewell's like, "I'm not interested, you know. It's not my thing." She keeps her religion in her own way. She's a believer, but doesn't want to buy the Bible. Joy, this guy's an idiot, according to Joy. He's nothing. Selling Bibles. Huh. But maybe I could seduce him, teach him a lesson. If I seduce him, I could, you know, have some fun because I'm lonely, but teach him a lesson about God, about his own goodness. He thinks he's so pure. I'll show him how pure he is. That's what Joy or Hulga is thinking. So she ends up setting up a date with him the next night. They're going to go out on a little walk. They get up to the barn, and he says, "Let's go up to the hayloft." Strange thing to say if you're a good, pure Bible salesman. Let's go up to the hayloft and check it out. So they get up there, and they're, you know, making out a little bit, as one does. And she starts having these dreams, visions of a future of the two of them, a romantic, happy ending for the two of them. And he's slowly undressing her, and he says, "I want to take off your leg. I want to see where the prosthetic meets your body." She says, "What? I've never let anybody do this before." And she dreams that someday at night he'll tuck her in and take off her prosthetic leg and tuck and make love to her every night, and he'll be the one who's in charge and in control of the leg. So she's got dreams, right? And he says, "Let me see that leg." And she lets him take it off. And then he opens up his suitcase, his briefcase full of Bibles, and he opens up his Bible and he shows her that it's not a Bible. It's a hollowed out book. And inside his Bible, he has a flask full of booze, a deck of playing cards with naked ladies on them, and some condoms. This is weird for the Bible salesman, right? And she doesn't know what to make of this. And then she realizes, you know, there's a false eye in his suitcase. And when she realizes she doesn't want to go through with things with him, he takes the leg, leaves her stranded up in the hayloft. And she's stolen some woman's eye. Now he's stolen this other woman's leg. And she says, but you're good country people, because that's what her mom said. And that's what Mrs. Freeman said. He's good country people. And you're religious, and you're Christian. And he says, "Come on, lady. I've been believing in nothing since the day I was born." And she realizes then that she isn't what she thought, right? She thought she was believing in nothingness, But she didn't. She had views of the future. There's my son waving. You can say hi to Isaiah. He's the one who tomorrow I have to take to some appointments, or today if you're watching this on Tuesday. Um, I've been believing in nothing since I was little. You think you're so cool. You think you're so nihilistic. You don't know. You believed. You believed that we had a future. You believed in true love. There's nothing out there. And he takes off with her leg and leaves her stranded in the hayloft. The end. Now, of course, she has to somehow get down, stumble down from the hayloft with one leg, stumble home with one leg, and explain to everybody what happened. She looks like a fool when she gets home, presumably. How else would she get through this, right? He's taught her a lesson. He has pointed her to true nihilism, to true nothingness. Shh, I'm making a video here. Now, in Southern literature like this, we often have the story of what's called the ugly plot, right? And here we have Joy changing her name to Hulga, thinking it's the ugliest thing, or the ugly trope. I mean, referred to as the ugly plot, but I think I like trope a little more here. The idea that this Southern woman can use ugliness as a substitution for the idea of the proper Southern belle. Because she paints herself as ugly, she doesn't have to do all that stuff that a proper Southern woman is supposed to do. She's not going to go to the cotillion, having the coming out party, the find the proper husband, be a proper Southern lady. That's not going to happen for her, and she's able to exploit ugliness, what she says is ugly, what she really looks like, I don't know. That's not my place to say how ugly she really is. But she's able to use that ugliness as a way to I'm going to sneeze here. The cold's come back. Came out of nowhere. Feeling crummy again. To skirt the rules of society, right? But it is Manly Pointer who's really skirted the rules. And then he even says that's probably not even really his name. He's lied about everything. He's not good country people. Or this idea of good country people might not really exist. Oh, beautiful. What a story. I hope you found it funny, because it's meant to be funny, right? I mean, he leaves her stranded up there without a leg, and kind of like partially undressed and everything. He's a jerk, but so's she, and so's her mom, and so's Mrs. Freeman. Everybody kind of seems like a jerk in this story. Nobody comes out ahead, except Manly, I guess, in that he comes out a leg, right? She needs a leg up. He gets a leg. Sorry about that joke. That's bad. Helga doesn't improve here, except she learns. She gets her lesson, right? I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you next time on Thursday. And on Thursday, we will be covering... Suddenly, I can't remember what we're covering on Thursday. Bear with me. Let me look. Nope. Oh, The Red Convertible by Louise Erdrich. Hopefully you submitted your analysis paper this morning, Tuesday morning. The Red Convertible by Louise Erdrich is a fun story about a couple of brothers. One has returned home from Vietnam. The other has made some money working at a restaurant. They live on a reservation, a Native American. They use their money to buy a convertible. And then things go a little awry. Have some fun with it. It's a relatively short story, so you'll get through it quickly. Have fun. I'll see you on Thursday. Be good. Keep wearing your masks. Don't do those white powders. Be safe. I'll see you around like a record.